This video could save your life. Do you feel like you're stuck on a never-ending hamster wheel, gradually losing the strength to push forward? You know you need to change something, or at least take a break, but guilt keeps you grinding. This is what many of you have told me, and honestly, same. I was in the same position in the beginning of this year. On the surface, what you see is all these wonderful things happening in my life, but despite all those, I became the closest I ever was to burnout. Previously, I studied chemical engineering at Caltech and worked as a business management consultant, which, if you don't know, is hours way beyond the typical 9 to 5. I did that all while building my YouTube channel, which meant spending about 20 hours on each video weekly. You know what's crazy? Not even in all those years did I get this close to burning out. So why? By pulling myself out of that position eventually, I've learned even more about preventing it and how I actually did prevent burnout in all prior years. Because the truth is, you can burn out even when life is going well. You could have too many opportunities or a wedding to plan, for instance, which, by the way, thank you so much to those who have been watching my wedding content. Yay! Before we start, just give yourself a pat on the back for already working so hard. You've done so much. Just know that you are enough. You are hardworking and ambitious, and those are great traits. Until they're not. Now, the best way to deal with burnout is to prevent it completely, and here is the ultimate guide. These are the same strategies I've used in my life, and I'm excited to share them with you today. Let's go. First, let's set the foundation. Number 1, why pushing yourself too much is counterproductive. The irony is that when you push yourself too hard out of fear for falling behind, you're actually losing more time and risking long-term damage to your life. You can see this in this graph example where, see, this person A is pushing themselves, but then they drop off and possibly stop working completely, while person B is working in a sustainable, healthy way and slow and steady, just like the turtle in The Tortoise and the Hare, gets farther and is happier all the while doing it. Person B might have cut themselves more slack and taken more breaks, while person A thinks of taking breaks as a waste of time. But guess what? Any time you enjoy wasting is not wasted time. Person A could essentially lose chunks of their life because they will look back at that time with regret, likely more than person B. Number 2 of setting the foundation. Why other tips about preventing burnout might have not worked for you. I'm not here to remind you to sleep more, set boundaries, eat healthy, and exercise. Why? Those will help if you do them. But there are 2 main problems that get in the way of you actually taking action. A, there's literally not enough room. Your day is packed with tasks, and you can't magically make more hours to work out and sleep. B, you struggle to make room. This all comes down to your mindset about work and life. You need to find your harmony in yin and yang. One of the problems that affected my mental health was that I never felt like there were enough hours in the day, and I never felt like there were enough years in my life. So, I'm exposing myself here. I would speed run YouTube videos, even when I was trying to learn valuable information. Even though it wasn't about improving my attention span specifically, I've been making an effort to watch videos now at most on 1.25x speed. I don't know why that took me such a struggle to say. Plus, I will put my videos on full screen, close my second monitor, because that deeper focus lets me not feel so anxious and overwhelmed because I don't think about the different tasks that are hanging above me. So you don't have to finish this video to already be making a difference in your life. You can take the first step, which is to lock in on this video. You know you clicked here for a reason. This is your sign to commit. You don't want to miss the end of this video where you get the real wake-up call. Great, you have the foundation down. Check. Now here are the 7 tips for avoiding burnout. Number 1, freshen things up. Sometimes it's not that you're working too hard, but where you're putting your efforts doesn't bring you enough excitement. When I'm working on a new idea or something fun, just like with my previous singing channel, no amount of work felt stressful or frustrating. When you feel stagnant doing the same thing over and over again, it leads to feelings of unfulfillment, like, why am I doing this? So the 2 ways to combat this and reignite your spark: A, ensure that you're learning and actually making progress toward your human capital. And B, change things up. I was stubborn and didn't believe this much before, but truly a new environment, new pursuit, or new something can really light your fire. Number 2, recalibrate. Use breaks for reflection, not more stimulation. Yes, a video is not complete if Amy does not talk about scrolling on your phones. Instead of doing that motion with your thumb, you need to look internally at what you want in your life. If you keep looking outside, you'll train your brain to rely on external signs that you're doing enough. Maybe you didn't get a promotion, so you need to work even harder and pull all-nighters. Maybe that guy on the internet has more achievements than you, so that's a sign that you're not working hard enough. You need to be able to tell yourself when you are doing enough. Great reflection methods I personally use are, well, they're actually like the most basic ones, but they work. They're meditate and journal. If you need somewhere to start or just some great journaling prompts, you can sign up for my free 7-day transformation newsletter linked below. Psst. If you keep living on autopilot and don't use this tip, it could even cost you your life. Watch to the end to find out why. Regarding reflection, I often find that it is helpful to have a third-party point of view to build awareness about yourself. When I've been on the hamster wheel for too long, often I can't see if I'm acting different or how I feel or if I'm doing what's really right for me. Like I said about the beginning of the year, YouTube was going decently well, I was wedding planning, I was healthy, but I just didn't feel the spark about creating as much. I was really confused and felt really guilty too because I actually wasn't even working that many hours I thought, but I realized it was actually mental exhaustion creeping in. That's when I tried therapy for the first time. Just by the therapist asking simple questions and breaking things down, I was able to be more honest with myself, which led me to feel more in control and to actually make some changes. And that is why I am super excited to be partnering with Growth Therapy for this part of the video. I've actually turned down sponsoring other online therapy platforms multiple times before. That's because I want to make sure I am recommending the most ethical brands to the best of my knowledge. Growth Therapy's mission is to make therapy more human, not clinical. They believe that therapy should be easy to access without the stigma, wait lists, or stress. The cool thing is that there's absolutely no subscriptions, no commitment. Most people pay just around $21 per session with insurance. They partner with over 50 insurance plans, including Medicaid in some states. And you can even use their cost estimator to see if your plan is covered and how much you'll pay. Some people pay nothing at all, depending on their plan's coverage. When I was in a tough spot, therapy was there when I needed it. Growth Therapy makes it easy to find great providers with real availabilities, and they offer both virtual and in-person sessions. For me, I specifically wanted a female therapist and one who also shares an Asian background. It's important to me to talk with someone who can relate to me and understands where I'm coming from. With Grow, you can filter by identity, language, and even the stage of life that you're in. Whether you're navigating parenting, relationships, grief, or something else, they ensure that they find someone who gets you. Therapy is not just for those in a crisis, it can help everyone, even if you just need a check-in. If you're interested, you can check out Growth Therapy with a link below or just scan this QR code. Number 3, look at the big picture. Your fear of not being able to keep going should outweigh your fear of temporary lost momentum. Here's why it's different from the foundational point that I said in the beginning of the video. In the beginning example, person B was chugging along slowly. But what I'm saying is that you can actually give yourself a complete stop or slow down a lot, and then you'll actually, when you get back to it, make progress exponentially way faster than you ever did before. Here's how I prove this to myself and practice what I preach. Content creators, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, anything, they're all united by this stress of being on this hamster wheel of doom of pumping out content, because we live essentially in the fear that if we stop posting, then the algorithm is going to decrease our views and we will lose everything. That's why you will see those videos on YouTube pop up of YouTubers being like, why I burned out, why I stopped posting. It's because they didn't give themselves a break to the point where they were then forced to take a break because they physically could not go on. And I was scared of that too. Typically, even when YouTubers go on vacation, they will batch their content and work even harder in the time prior to leaving, or they will still work on vacation, check comments, post, do all that stuff. So when I had my wedding coming and I was also going to take a 1.5 month long trip to Asia, my friends asked me,
Amy, what are you gonna do with posting?
They kind of sounded apprehensive and like just really curious, like how I'm going to keep posting. But they also said it in a way as in they assumed that I would keep posting, which is interesting, right? But I put my foot down to myself and said I'm taking those nearly 2 months completely off. Despite the risk of the algorithm's wrath and people's comments, I did not post a new video in that period. And guess what? That break led me to come back even more energized and ready to create. Number 4, remember what it's all for. Go back to your fundamental values. If you're a student, you work hard for good grades so you can get a good job, so you can get money. And if you are already working, you work hard for money. Everyone needs this thing called money. You work hard for money, but Why? Not so you can buy luxury bags, not even to pay your bills. But what is the deepest, most fundamental reason for money? It's for happiness, stability, and better health. It's so you can live. So why are you sacrificing those things now? Be honest with yourself. Who are you really doing all this for? Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but it should only be for 3 things. Imagine someone locks you in a room, works you hard, and keeps telling you, don't worry, it will all get better once you hit this milestone. But tomorrow might never come. Would you take that deal? It sounds risky, right? But you might be doing that to yourself. If you're working hard for your future or to buy something that makes you happy, well, what good is school or work if the person you're doing it for is suffering every day? Number 2, for your family. One of my biggest whys for working so hard and wanting to be better off financially is so I could have money to treat my parents, my immigrant Asian parents who worked so hard to give me this great life that I'm so privileged to have. If we break it down to a deeper level, I wanted to give them the love that they gave me. But what about giving them love now? In high school, even when I was working hard, I would still spend a lot of quality time with them, eating dinners and chatting a lot, and I was content. But for a while when pushing on YouTube, I felt uneasy and close to burnout because of it. After reflecting, that prior tip, I realized that it's because I've been skipping weeks when I call them. So my parents live in China right now, and I wanted to set a schedule of calling them every week, but because I'm so busy pushing on YouTube for them, sometimes I forget to call them. And one time when I was talking to my dad, at the end of the call, he just says,
Amy, I just want to tell you how grateful I am that you called me, because I feel like a lot of kids your age no longer call their parents that much. And
he just expressed so much like love and appreciation for the simple fact that his daughter gave him a call. This time, going back to China and spending time with my parents, I realized that they don't want me to be uber successful. They don't want the things that I want to treat them with. All they want is for me to be happy and healthy. Number 3, you work hard so you can take care of your future family. What you need to support them with is not only money, but it's with time and health. Thus, you should be building those along with your wealth. Number 5, do more wants, not shoulds. On a daily basis, we likely don't realize how many things we do because we feel like we should do them. The more you do things out of obligation, that is a recipe for burnout. I knew I didn't want to burn out from YouTube, of talking with you, my amazing community, so I took some actual steps to do more of what I want to do. Like, for example, my wedding vlogs, right? They're obviously not gonna get that many views, and I knew that, but I wanted to post them because I still wanted to share them and I wanted them to be part of my channel. I spent almost 2 months working on that wedding content, even though that's not something I should do for money or views or anything, but it's because I truly, genuinely cherish those projects. What a blessing it is to be exhausted in the pursuit of a challenge of my own choosing. Recognize that leeway is often something you give yourself. I used my leeway and took active steps against the obligation trap. 6, reframe being too tired as a good thing. I believe in pushing your limits to understand what they truly are. But the key is to be honest with yourself about when your health and well-being are suffering. I know this from real life examples, people in my life who did not heed this tip. There are warning signs that they ignored, like if you are not doing the basics, eating healthy, sleeping enough, being generally happy, then that's a red flag. But these people I knew, they were so good at pushing their body through the pain. Like, they were just way too good at delayed gratification, or the grind set, as you might call it. These people I'm referring to have had to go to the hospital, and one of them stay at the hospital for a week due to chronic stress. You might get down on yourself and being like,
oh, why is my discipline not as high as other people? Oh, why can't I just push myself through the pain?
But that's not always a good thing, right? Your body is amazing and it struggles and feels truly exhausted for a reason. It's telling you something. So actually, don't feel bad if you have a lower threshold. That lower threshold is good. Do not compare yourself with those online who seem like they're juggling 100 things. They don't show it to you, but everything comes at a cost. Find your sweet spot, embrace your body's warnings, and don't ignore them. Number 7, the important wake-up call. Quitting is not giving up. In a recent article, just this year, 2025, a 28-year-old investment banker tragically passed away after working over 100-hour work weeks. And guess what? This is not just one case. There are so many instances, especially in the finance realm, where young people have lost their entire lives ahead of them just due to working. This, of course, does call into question work conditions and how companies protect their employees, but I just want to point out that you have a choice. No amount of money or prestige from a finance job is worth your life. Every time I see news like that pop up, Sean and I talk like, oh my gosh, these young adults had so much potential. They had their whole lives ahead of them, and they were definitely smart enough to figure things out. But now they can't even enjoy the fruits of their labor. If you are suffering that much from work, I'd say quit. Take care of yourself. And I would tell myself the same thing, because guess what? Letting yourself continue to endure that situation would actually be giving up on yourself and what matters. Quitting something not good for you is actually giving yourself a new chance, a shot at life, your best bet. And with that comes why I always say that self-love equals self-care, which equals automatic self-growth. A message from me to you. Please, I know that society has all these pressures. We fall into comparison, especially even more with social media. I fall into this trap all the time. But truly, please don't push yourself too much. You are enough already, and it's time you started treating yourself like it. Thanks again to Growth Therapy for sponsoring this video. Be sure to check them out with the link below or scan this QR code. Below is also my 7-day transformation series if you'd like more tips from me and journaling prompts. For those at the end of the video, do you see anything different with my look? Gold star if you can comment it down below. If you're struggling with mental health and truly need to and can push through on your current work, then you can check out this video that I made about how to work when you do not have the best mental health. And I also share how I was dealing with my bad mental health at the time. So click here, and as always, thank you so much. Keep taking care of yourself, and I will see you at the top. Bye, thank you.